I am a huge advocate of professional wrestling being fun. I think it has to be fun because that's the easiest pathway to ensure that all people involved are enjoying what is going on and that we will receive a decent amount of entertainment value. Whatever fun is to you in terms of professional wrestling, I think it has to be fun in order for you to enjoy it. If you're not having much fun consuming it or watching it, if you will, then you're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to be entertained by it. And that's just the truth. It feels like a chore. It feels like something you have to do as opposed to something you want to do. It's much better for you when it's something you want to do, not something you feel you need or have to do or have to tough it out through. It's not the way to go. And I've always felt that humor definitely has a place in professional wrestling. I mean, we can't always take this stuff so serious. We are basically talking about HGH inflated, steroid bound men in their underpants wrestling other men with like qualities. Let's not take this shit too seriously. Let's have some fun with it. And again, I've always felt that humor and comedy belongs in professional wrestling. It has a purpose. It has a place. It can be productive. And I think if you take that comedy and that humor and those comedy and humor characters and you sprinkle them in the right way for the right purpose in the right place with the right plan for the right reason, it can be incredibly productive at times. I look at Santino Marella as a perfect example of this. A lot of serious fans that are all about the nuts and bolts of the in-ring action were still incredibly entertained by somebody different like a Santino Marella. Somebody who had fun, somebody who was fun, somebody that injected comedy and humor and some shtick into something that can all too often become kind of watered down, buttoned down, and maybe way too serious. And, there's a place for that. But I also think that when you do that type of stuff, it needs to fit the current product and it needs to fit what's going on with the current times. And I harken back to, let's say, the Attitude Era. Just as a point of comparison here. You had Crash Holly carrying a scale out to the ring, saying he was weighing in excess of 400 pounds. You had the 24/7 hardcore rules for the hardcore title. You had Mae Young giving birth to a hand, so on and so forth. Well, in that time, the Attitude Era, part of the mantra, the mindset in that kind of shock, crash TV type of mentality was that anything could happen. Literally, anything could happen. And those type of things, no matter how crazy and off the wall and not based on reality they were, fit into the mantra and the mindset of the time that anything can happen. But these were also characters that had a place. These were also characters that were part of a bigger picture. These are also characters that were getting a role, were getting a spot, we're not necessarily always getting a featured spot or a big-time role. They were kind of like the garnish and the dressing. They weren't the steak or even the freaking potatoes. They weren't one of the main dishes. Well, of course, the problem with the WWE today is that so often these type of comedy characters can end up being overpowering, and they end up going from being just the garnish and the side piece to being one of the most important parts of the show. You look at Hornswoggle several years back, and the whole thing about who his daddy is, you were basically pushing a freaking leprechaun more than 95% of your active roster. There's a problem with this picture. And I look at the WWE today, and I see what they're doing with this stupid bunny. And it represents a lot more of the same to me. A character like the bunny can have a purpose, can have a place, can have a reason, and can be productive. But when you are pushing that bunny more than maybe 95% of your freaking current talent roster, when you are utilizing other guys with talent like Heath Slater or Titus O'Neil to get this stupid character in a freaking bunny suit over, there is a problem with this picture. Because this is something that either a Vince or a Kevin Dunn thinks is a tremendous idea. Kevin Dunn's probably looking at it and going, well, I've always wanted to be a sports entertainer, and I can live vicariously through the bunny. It's like his name, It's Kevin Dunn. And Vince is like, you know what people want to see? They don't want to see brawn panty matches. They don't want to see great in-ring action. They don't want to see new stars developed. They want to see a bunny in a suit. And that's the mindset and the philosophy of the WWE. It's like they get bored with something and then they try something like this, knowing that they have no purpose for it, that it has no place, that they have no reason for it, and that they have no plan for it. And ultimately, there's no end game. There's no outcome to this. This is just something to humor them, something to engage them for the time being, something to keep them interested. Well, you have to come up with this type of crap to keep yourself interested. Then maybe you're in the wrong fucking business. The fact that this bunny, that you went to such great lengths to come up with such a creative name and concept for him, that you call him the freaking bunny. At least call him Kevin Dunn, or Mr. Hoppy, or Mr. Floppy Dick, or something. Something. But you were sitting there and pushing this bunny, and not just featuring the bunny, not just having the bunny have a place, but you were legitimately pushing this bunny to the point where he is consuming your commentators in JBL, Cole, and Lawler, to the point where he is one of the most talked about things on your entire freaking show. Now, is this bunny suit and this bunny gimmick being used, let's say, for somebody like a Darren Young to maybe get back at a Titus O'Neil, and that being used as a launching point for Darren Young to get a run as a babyface? Probably not. It's just literally somebody in the WWE thinks it's a good idea to push the fucking bunny. Even over Adam Rose. You never even really gave Adam Rose a chance. You now have decided that the bunny takes more precedent and more priority to you than people like freaking your Intercontinental Champion Dolph Ziggler, people like Cesaro, people like Bray Wyatt, lesser tier people like Heath Slater, Titus O'Neil, Bo Dallas, Adam Rose. I could go on and on and on. The stupidity of this is absolutely astounding. It's not even fun. When your overall product is bad, these kind of things stick out like a sore thumb. It's not like, well, the show was pretty good, but it had this. I didn't like this, but by far, it's not going to ruin my entire enjoyment of the show. It becomes, if anything, the personification and the representation of what is wrong with your product fucking today. You have characters sitting there that are supposed to be PG friendly, but they're using words like bitch or ass. See John Cena. You are sitting there and trying to sit there to appeal to kids and families, even though the primary demographic that you still worry about from an advertising and from a rating standpoint is the 18 to 34 male demographic. Here you are freaking doing this type of crap where you're pushing a fucking bunny. At a time where your format of your show is terrible, at a time where your main event picture is non-existent, at a time where you basically have a vacant WWE champion in Brock Lesnar, at a time where you consistently are pulling the rug out from new guys that are trying to break through that glass ceiling that they'll never be able to break through, you have decided one of the biggest priorities for your company, at a time where you desperately need to be investing in the future, one of the biggest priorities for your company, at a time where you have these young, exciting talents, like Ambrose and Rollins and Wyatt and Cesaro even and Roman Reigns and so on and so forth. You have determined and decided that one of the best things for business and one of the best things for your product is to push a freaking bunny. A bunny! It is not funny. It is not good. It does not help increase the fun factor of your show. It does not increase the enjoyment and entertainment level of the show. It sticks out like a sore thumb and reminds us of just how bad this current product is and just how crappy this type of garbage is and just how non-seriously the WWE takes those hardcore serious fans whose asses they're trying to lick and kiss and whose cocks they're trying to suck in order to get them to subscribe to that continuous failure that is the fucking WWE Network. A freaking bunny! In an era like the Attitude Era, where you had all this type of shit where anything could happen, fuck it. It blends in as just a part of the show, and it's fine. But again, it's about its purpose, its place, its reason, a plan. All of those things you would have had during that time frame. And you have absolutely none of them now. The whole purpose, it seems like, is just to piss fans off. The whole place for them is wherever the fuck they want to at a hornswoggle level, getting more of a push than 95% of the fucking roster. The plan? There is no plan. Just humor Kevin Dunn and Vince. Like I said, it's like Kevin Dunn is living vicariously through the man in the fucking bunny suit because I always wanted to be a sports entertainer. Now this, everybody, this is professional wrestling. And the WWE wonders why interest in their product continues to wane. The WWE wonders why more people aren't subscribing to their precious WWE network. The WWE wonders why they're not consistently selling out every venue. The WWE wonders why their ratings are dropping. It's because they decide to push a guy in a bunny suit over 95% of their fucking roster for no real reason, with no real point, purpose, or plan, or place for him. It's more stupid shit from the WWE.